What does it mean to live in a world where meaning seems elusive? Why do we push ourselves so hard to impress others, to gain success, to find fulfillment, only to eventually face the harsh reality of death? These profound questions have haunted humanity for centuries. The search for purpose often feels endless, especially for those who struggle to find answers within traditional frameworks of religion or spirituality. Albert Camus, one of the most influential philosophers of the 20th century, delves deep into these themes with his philosophy of absurdism. This philosophical approach offers a unique perspective on how to confront life's inherent lack of meaning and how to navigate the chaos that comes with it. Today, let's explore Camus' philosophy and discover how it can provide us with a way to live meaningfully, even in an indifferent world. The universal struggle. Throughout history, humans have turned to religion for answers. For centuries, it was the belief in a higher power that provided people with purpose, comfort, and hope. Religion answered the big questions. Why are we here? What is the purpose of life? In times of hardship or uncertainty, faith offered a sense of meaning. Whether life was filled with joy or suffering, religion assured its followers that there was a reason behind it all. However, with the rise of modernity and the scientific revolution, this certainty began to erode. Darwin's theory of evolution and other scientific advancements gave people new ways to understand the world, one that did not necessarily require the existence of a divine being. As a result, religion began to be seen more as a moral code rather than an answer to life's ultimate questions. In the 19th century, the German philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche famously declared, "God is dead, and we have killed him." This declaration was not to be taken literally. Nietzsche was not claiming that a deity had physically died, but rather that Europe was no longer connected to God in the same way it once had been. As science and alternative philosophies began to take hold, many people found themselves without a higher purpose, a moral compass, or any firm answers to their existence. Nietzsche warned that this decline of religion would lead to a profound sense of nihilism, a belief that life has no inherent meaning or value. Nihilism's grip. Without religion or a guiding force, many people began to experience existential crisis. Life's meaning seemed to slip further out of reach. What was the point of living, working, or striving for success if there was no ultimate purpose? This despair, fueled by the realization of life's inherent meaninglessness, became the cornerstone of nihilism, a philosophy that asserts that nothing has any intrinsic value or meaning. Nihilism, while offering a stark and brutal truth about existence, does not offer any real solutions. It leaves people stranded in a void of despair, with no clear way to move forward. The world, as seen through the nihilist lens, is a chaotic, indifferent place, and our lives are nothing more than fleeting blips in the vast empty cosmos. Albert Camus, another influential 20th century philosopher, encountered these existential questions and the nihilistic view of life. However, rather than sinking into despair, Camus proposed an alternative way to live, which he called absurdism. The absurd. Camus' philosophy is rooted in the concept of the absurd, the fundamental tension between our human desire to find meaning in life and the universe's apparent indifference to our search. To illustrate this, Camus often referred to the Greek myth of Sisyphus. In the myth, Sisyphus is condemned by the gods to push a massive boulder up a mountain, only for it to roll back down every time he reaches the top. This endless cycle of futile labor is the ultimate metaphor for the absurdity of life. For Camus, the myth of Sisyphus symbolizes the human condition. We are all caught in a continuous cycle of striving, searching, and attempting to find meaning, yet our efforts often seem to yield little to no result. Life, much like Sisyphus's task, can feel repetitive, exhausting, and seemingly pointless. But Camus saw this as a challenge rather than a tragedy. Instead of despairing over the futility of life, Camus advocated for embracing the absurdity, defying despair. According to Camus, the appropriate response to the absurdity of life is not despair or nihilism, but defiance. He suggested that we should live our lives fully, even though we know that we will never find an ultimate, satisfying answer to life's big questions. In the face of the absurd, we must continue to search for meaning, even if that search leads us in circles. In his essay, The Myth of Sisyphus, Camus famously declared that we must imagine Sisyphus happy. Despite the fact that his task is eternally futile, Sisyphus continues to push the boulder. And in this continuous struggle, he finds his purpose. For Camus, embracing the absurd means acknowledging life's limitations and still finding joy in the struggle itself. It's about living in the present moment, defying the urge to find a higher meaning, and instead, choosing to create our own meaning through our actions. Absurdism and freedom. Camus also spoke of the freedom that comes with embracing the absurd. When we accept that life has no predetermined meaning, we are free to create our own meaning, based on our values, passions, and choices. There is liberation in the recognition that there is no final answer to the questions that plague us. Life is an open-ended journey, and it's up to us to make it worthwhile. In a world where the pressures of success, societal expectations, and external validation often shape our decisions, absurdism challenges us to live authentically and without fear. Camus argued that instead of following societal norms or chasing external achievements to prove our worth, we should pursue what truly matters to us, regardless of what others may think. This rebellious freedom, Camus suggested, is the key to living a fulfilling life. We are not bound by the norms or conventions that society places upon us. In fact, Camus' philosophy encourages us to break free from those chains and find our own path, living fully in the absurd. So how do we live fully, knowing that life might not have an inherent purpose? According to Camus, we should embrace the struggles and hardships of life, seeing them as opportunities for growth, rather than obstacles to our happiness. If we lose our job or fail in a project, we should not succumb to despair. Instead, we should view these setbacks as part of life's natural rhythm, nothing more than a step in the ongoing journey. Absurdism encourages us to take risks, try new things, and explore life's many possibilities without the constant fear of failure. Whether it's starting a new business, traveling the world, or pursuing a creative passion, absurdism empowers us to live freely and with purpose, even if that purpose is self-defined. In essence, Camus advocates for a life filled with experimentation and exploration. Rather than focusing on the outcomes or what others might think, absurdism teaches us to embrace life's uncertainties, to keep moving forward, and to find joy in the process rather than the destination. Finding meaning in chaos. The world is chaotic, and often it feels as though we are just a small part of an enormous, impersonal machine. But absurdism offers us a way to find meaning in the midst of that chaos. By accepting that life might not have a grand, cosmic purpose, we are liberated to create our own meaning. This means seeking fulfillment in the small moments, in relationships, in passions, and in experiences, rather than waiting for a higher power or some universal truth to reveal itself. Camus also emphasized the importance of embracing suffering. Life, for all its beauty, is also marked by pain and hardship. But rather than seeing suffering as something to avoid, Camus believed that it was through our struggles that we develop resilience and a deeper appreciation for life. Suffering, in this sense, is not the enemy. It is a natural part of the human experience that can teach us valuable lessons about endurance and strength. Absurdism versus nihilism. While absurdism and nihilism share some similarities, they diverge in crucial ways. Both philosophies recognize that life may lack inherent meaning, but where nihilism leads to despair and resignation, absurdism offers a more hopeful outlook. Absurdism doesn't deny the meaninglessness of life, it embraces it and chooses to live in spite of it. This is the key difference. Nihilism gives up, whereas absurdism continues the fight. Instead of letting the lack of meaning render us helpless, absurdism encourages us to create meaning through our actions and choices. It's a philosophy of defiance, freedom, and personal empowerment. The positive aspects of absurdism. Although absurdism offers a powerful framework for dealing with the chaos of life, it's not without its challenges. There will inevitably come a time when the constant struggle of pushing the boulder up the hill loses its appeal. But even in those moments, absurdism teaches us that it's okay to embrace the uncertainty and to continue forward. The journey itself is what matters. In conclusion, Albert Camus' philosophy of absurdism provides a liberating way to navigate life's uncertainties. It encourages us to find meaning in the face of meaninglessness, to live fully despite life's inherent absurdity, and to create our own purpose. While life may never offer a final answer to the big questions, absurdism gives us the tools to embrace the journey with courage, resilience, and joy. In the end, it is not about finding the meaning of life. It's about making life meaningful through our actions and choices. So, what are we waiting for? Let's embrace the absurdity of life and live it to the